Good evening, folks. Yet another yellow jiffy bag of goodness from AliExpress for you this evening. And tonight, no, it's not an electronics kit. It is a replacement car key housing. Now, if you're like me, your car key might look something a little bit like this. Falling to pieces, as you can see. The rubber's just all breaking away. And whilst the key does still function, as you can see, and it does work perfectly well, it is in a little bit of a sorry state. So I went to AliExpress, as I've already said, and picked up a replacement key fob. Now, these to get from a dealer are pretty expensive, and you can get cheap Chinese copies, of which I'm not actually sure if this is a copy or whether it is an original part, because it certainly looks identical. The action is identical. Oops. Oh no, it's not. It was identical. Fail. Yeah, I have actually opened this to have a look outside, and it did. You know, it does flip open just as well. So yeah, it's either a really good quality copy or it is the real thing. But looking around it, it certainly does appear that it is identical. Now, we also get inside this little tiny black Ziploc bag. Now, I'm not sure why it's black. Maybe it is a copy and they're using black, so it's not. You know, if customs open it, they won't actually take the time to open it. But we get the little chrome logo, and indeed the sticker with the frequency and the manufacturer details, etc. So tonight is going to basically be me showing you how to take the insides out of this old key fob and put it into this new one. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I think what we'll do at the start is we'll have a look at inside the new one, and it comes apart fairly easy, he says. There we go. So yeah, we've got the actual key mechanism itself, and you know, it's got a spring in here to tension it up, and obviously the button which you know, operates it and allows it to flip out. You know, it looks fairly good quality, like I say. Now, I don't know how easy this is going to be to open the old one, but we'll give it a go. So we'll pop the battery cover off, and we'll just compare the parts as we go along. Yeah, don't notice any difference in that. There's a ring on the inside of the new one. If you can see, just they've got this sort of cross shape. There's a ring around the inside of that one where it isn't on the original. And then we've got, of course, a 2032 battery, which I will just take out, like so. Right, and I have previously tried to open this up and found that it was pretty much stuck in, so I'm just going to try and crack it. I'm just using this cheap pair of snips to open this up. It does appear to be glued in. So let's attack it at the corner. We do want to be careful about opening this up, because there is a transponder chip in it, as most modern car keys do have, and we don't want to damage that, because that is something that the dealer will charge us a fortune for. Right, I think I'll just pause while I crack this open. Bear with me. Right, as you will see, this has undergone significant force trying to open it. I just used a flat-headed screwdriver and sort of wedged it down the side, so it does look like it's about to open up now. So as you can see down here, and there we go. Just lost the key across the workshop there. Right, so that's us in, and the board just pops out like so. Yeah, not a lot to it. There we go. We've got OKA PB110, whatever one of those is, and a 5100. Little crystal. Yeah, a couple of buttons and that's it. Not a lot on that side, just purely battery contacts. So, right, we're finally in. I have lost the original spring. I don't know where that went, but we don't need it. What we do need to do is get this chip out though. This is our transponder chip, and that's just a little cover in there, and we can see that the transponder chip is down in the bottom there. So we're going to have to cut this open gently as we can. There we go. Almost there. And that's our chip in there. If I just lift it out like so. Now the chip isn't actually rectangular. It doesn't look like a chip. It's not connected to anything. It is just a transponder. And for those that you don't know, I might be teaching to suck eggs here, but a transponder is basically a little coil with some components inside. And what happens when you put your car key into the ignition and turn it on, there's a coil around the actual, what do you call it, the lock, your ignition lock, ignition barrel, and that coil generates an electromagnetic field, which then induces a sort of current in the coil, and then the circuitry inside emits and sends a signal to a receiver in the ignition barrel, and basically the computer, the ECU inside the car says, yep, that's the correct key to start this car, and then allows the ignition sequence to sort of happen. So there we go, in case you didn't know. So I think what we'll do is now is we'll get rid of the old bits off the bench, and then we'll look at installing the new parts. So we've got our transponder chip, and what I'm going to do is just with a little dab of super glue, just a tiny amount, we'll just put that chip in there the same way, checking the orientation. It can only go in one way, so we'll put it in that same way and use our tweezers to push that down, and that's it, correctly seated. Hopefully you saw that. And there was this small rubber piece as well, plastic piece, and again I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue in there just to hold that in place. Like so. Happy days. So that's our old one. Again, we'll have a look inside, and looking at the differences to this, we've got a rubber seal around this one, and that is integrated into a light pipe at the end, where this one just has a plastic sort of groove and then a clear plastic insert for the light guide. So on the surface of it, I'm going to say it is probably a copy. Yeah, pretty certain of that now. But yeah, it obviously is going to look a bit better regardless. It is fairly high quality. Okay, so where do we go next? Right, next thing we're going to have to do is insert the circuit board. And I think we'll put it in this side first. And there's a couple of little grooves, if I just grab my tweezers again, just here and just here, and those are cut to position the PCB in, and that looks nice and tidy. Excuse me. Right, so next thing to do is replace the key. Now we can use this nice shiny new key. It's got a blank blade, But if you look at my car key and the replacement, yeah, there's a little bit of a scratch where when I was opening it up, but it's nice and shiny. It's not overly scratched, and I don't see the point in struggling to take this little pin out to swap these blades over, you know, when this one's in relatively good condition. So I'm just going to reuse the original key blade. Okay, so looking at the key blade, I need to find out which way it actually goes in. But I think it goes from the top to the bottom. No. I know this video isn't perfect, guys. I'm just I'm having to do it as I go along. And presumably this can only go in one way. Hi folks, sorry to do a little cut there. Yeah, I couldn't get the button to fit inside the key blade. This is a new blade with the new button, and as you can see, the button has got a sort of 3 sort of studs around the outside in a sort of Y shape as you look at it here. And looking at the old button here, just to make it a bit easier, we've got a short sort of stud near the open end, and then we've got 2 other studs, or guides, whatever you want to call them, that are the same size, you know, on the other sides. And this shorter stud goes to this 1 o'clock position on the key as you look at it here in this orientation. So the short one, as you can see there, is at the 1 o'clock position. So new blade, new button, works fine. Old blade, old button, works fine. However, new button and old blade does not work fine. Now I could reuse the old button, you know, it's just not getting in there. I could reuse the old button, but I don't think it'll look as nice. So looking at here, you can probably just see through the at the top right here that does have clearance. I can see light through there. The top right is fine, but this bottom one appears to be a little bit too proud on this side. So what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to file that off using a flat file. I'll take care not to damage the chrome on the outside, because it kind of defeats the purpose. So it's a little bit filed off. So we'll take our old blade now and we'll try that and see if it fits. And that's certainly a little bit better, but not perfect yet. And we want to take our time doing this, take a little bit off, you know, trial fit it, take another bit off, trial fit it, just to make sure that we're not you know, taking too much off, because it's easier to take a little bit more off than try and put some more back on. Okay, I'll try that. And get it in the correct orientation. Yeah, it's getting there. Certainly a lot better. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the video and get that filed, and then I'll restart the video. Bear with me. Right, well that took a little bit longer than expected. So that's the button filed down. I just, as I went along, kept test fitting it, like I said, just a little bit of time. And now you can see it's in there and it moves fairly freely, which is nice. Okay, so now to the assembly. And it should be fairly straightforward. I'm not going to use any sort of glue on this just now. I might not need it, to be honest. Certainly this one did appear to be bonded. But, you know, we'll try it without it, and we'll see how that goes. So, how are we going to assemble this then? Well, fairly straightforward. We are going to put on the button side of the case, as you can see here, we will put the key with the button already in place, and we're going to put it in the locked position. Okay. Now this spring, as you can see here, has an end that protrudes out, and on the other end, the end is folded into the middle. And if you look down in the middle there, you might not be able to see it, but there's a sort of U-shaped insert. So the little end of that spring wants to pop in there, and just give it a little twist to make sure that's located, and I can feel as I'm rotating that spring that it is beginning to, you know, have some tension in it. So thinking about how this goes together then, clearly the spring locates onto this raised area on here, so we're going to have to induce some tension into the spring to give it that pop-up effect, a pop-out effect. If we just put it together now, the spring's not going to be under tension and the key just will flop about, essentially. So we want the spring to flip open that way, so we're going to have to induce some tension into the spring that way anyway, so that you know, when we press the button, you know, that tension is released and brings the key around with it. So what we're going to do is, so it opens anti-clockwise, so we need to put some anti-clockwise tension into it. Oops, and the PCB's just fallen out. So we'll just pop that back in there like so. So we will take our bottom half, if it is, if you want to call it that. We're going to put this little stud in the spring, and we are going to put it in and build up 1 turn's worth of tension, and then clip it together, and then hopefully when we press the button it flips open. Nice click when it opens, and the key is fairly solid. Happy days. So that is a successful job. Next thing to do is obviously to do the final assembly, and you know, it's nearly Christmas. Let's treat ourselves to a new 2032. I use GP lithiums normally, not Chinese knockoffs. I get these from a reputable supplier, and that just pops in like so. Press the button, and that is flashing nicely, as you can see, and I can tell you that it is working because I can see my car on the CCTV. We'll take our battery cover, snap it shut, and that is it. Nice and solid. I don't think I'm going to need to do anything else. So let's go the whole hog. We'll put the sticker on. I'll just use a little pair of tweezers to peel that off the backing plastic. And of course on the original remote this had just completely worn off. So we'll get it located in the recess. Make sure it's all lined up, and then just press it home. And finally, I don't think this needs adhesive. I think there's a sort of recess in here, so a little Hyundai logo. I don't think this is, oh, it does go a certain way actually. It goes that way, and that appears just to push in. I don't know if that will fall out. No, it appears to be an okay. So there we have it. A nice shiny new key fob working absolutely perfectly. And as you can see, even though this is the original key, that does not look too shabby at all. Fairly straightforward job. Sorry I had to do a couple of cuts in there just to, you know, get it all together. Of course, you know, if you're buying a Chinese copy, you might have issues like that. Of course, the easy option, in hindsight, probably the easiest option would have been to knock the pin out here. Is that screwed? No. Yeah, knock the pin out here, take the new blade out, put the old blade in, or indeed just go to your local key cutting place and get them to cut the new blade for you. But you know, it's a successful job. You know, that's pretty nice. Sorry, I didn't mention price. This, including delivery, I think was £1. I think it was just under £2. So yeah, a fairly cheap replacement, and far cheaper than going to your dealer. Anyway, folks, as always, if you enjoyed the video, found it useful or helpful, please like and subscribe. Yeah, and thanks again for watching. Until next time, all the best.